Rising podcast. Appreciate everyone joining us here on a nice Tuesday. It's nice to see, well, I'm not really seeing anyone's faces. I obviously can't confirm if they're beautiful today, but y'all are always beautiful. But appreciate you guys joining us. It's nice to be
Stop flirting with the chat, Max.
Why was he so soft-spoken?
I am just exchanging pleasantries. Listen, I'm still recovering. It's vacation was good and everything ensuing, but it's nice to be back.
Well, you know who else is back? The D-backs are now winning 7-4 apparently tonight.
Dude,
that's what the noise was right as we came on. I do want
to point out that I believe and this is not D-backs podcast. That's the PHNX D-backs podcast can be on later for those who are interested. But I will say that as he was leaving, I believe the score was either 3-0 or 3-1, and Mr. Greg Esposito said, and I quote, "It will be 10-4 to the D-backs." And we're not that far off. It's 7-4 right now. It's pretty good. But hey, we ain't talking about no baseball. We're talking about the real ball, the football, beautiful game. Mr. Owen, I did watch the game. I watched the package.
I pity you.
Yeah,
you had to watch the El Paso
listen, man, you were there.
you?
I know a lot of fans made the trip. I did see a couple, namely whoever made that first comment in our chat tonight. He will not be acknowledged, but I saw him on the broadcast as well. And, shout out to everyone who made the journey over to El Paso, because first off, why would you do that? And then
It's not that bad.
No, I mean, because more so I'm talking about the game that they watched. It was it was something. You were there.
They managed to avoid the commentary.
You did avoid the commentary. It was talk about a commentator's curse. You want to break it down? The commentator's curse.
The commentator's curse.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, as he says about how it's a good result for them, for El Paso.
Yeah.
And the minute not even a minute, the second effectively he finishes
like,
that sentence, that ball comes off at Darius Formella's boot and just curls into the net. Like, how do you curse at something that badly? That's talent. That's talent. We didn't see that in the rest of the broadcast, but that was talent.
Listen, man, you love to see it, but especially Phoenix Rising had a couple chances, had a clear cut header. I mean, Cuejo, they had some breakaway opportunities. Memo Arciaga should have passed it across. Danny Trejo had a couple opportunities himself. Right, one of those matches where you kind of see these changes not going in. And I don't know about you, but kind of watching, you're thinking, this is just one of those games that Rising is like, not only are they probably not going to win, it seems like they might not even get the result. And we were very close to that happening. Yeah.
No, it was one of those games where I think there were a few moments when you look at from Rising's perspective, you just think, how doesn't that ball hit the back of the net? How did they manage to not score in those moments, right? There's the one where Manuel Arciaga rounds the goalkeeper. There's the other one where Emil Cuejo gets up and the header it's a free header. Yeah. It's just handed to him and he can't keep it on target, right? And when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, but you get to the end and think, okay, it's not their night. They're gonna squander the opportunity here. And then of course Darius Formella steps up, gets the goal in stoppage time. They're still trying to argue that it's offside. I don't know. It's tight. It's really tight. It is really tight.
Stop.
But there's no camera angle that gives you the perfect answer. We don't know, right? Look, there's no camera angle. There's no camera angle in El Paso that shows you the entirety of the pitch from touchline to touchline. Okay?
You mean baseline to baseline?
You can't see the... You'd have been proud of me the way I signed off the post-game show on Saturday. Actually. It was almost cringy enough to be how you would.
You think I'm cringy?
Just a little.
You think I talk about cringy topics? Yeah, well. Anyway, no, we won't go there. Anyway, yeah, seeing comments. Do you want to say we're not having a conversation with Style like Reese. He can. I guess you guys can have that on your own accord. But seeing Thomas's comment, missed chances must have gone to them. The lads were bagging them in at training today because the fans out there. It's nice to see.
Yeah, they've been doing that a good bit this season in terms of getting some of the season ticket holders out there in recent weeks. I think it's good on a few different fronts, right? It's good for the fans to get that little bit of a kind of, access that they wouldn't normally necessarily get. Makes them feel a little bit more included, and again, gives something more back to season ticket holders who, often say, well, we get the tickets to all the games, what else are we getting? We hear that quite a lot, especially because the club used to do a lot more, and then that fell off during COVID, of course, for understandable reasons. And now starting to pick up again. But I think it's also good for the boys, really, to see the support they're getting going to a really, really pivotal time this season.
Yes, very much so. I mean, right. Shout out Stack Lackey Reese. He did put together a couple stats for us, right? Rising created 13 chances. Panos created 4 of them himself. I think, right? Especially a guy active on his own social as well. He very much, right? We've sung his praises, right? Especially really since he's been acquired, but really in the last, couple weeks, couple months, really has come along, really has helped catapult his team. I think it's one of those things where I'm kind of wary of not saying he is the one guy creating chances, but you want to distribute where you can, even out the chances. But I think that he's kind of a guy who kind of gets a lot of the team involved, gets some other guys going, and you like to see it. I know he was in a way, had a really good performance. Anyone else you would like to really highlight from that match that was not discussed in the postgame?
I will actually go on that a little bit more on Panos' front, right? Because I think there was a bit more negativity around him, and that can happen sometimes, right, with midfielders. That can be the case, okay? With strikers, I think we tend to often point out did they not get the service? We kind of look at things that way. I think when you look at midfielders, you don't always quite get that same understanding, and it's only when you look back then that you notice, hang on a minute, he played a couple of really good balls in there, right? There was the one that Arteaga had saved, and there's one that Arteaga put wide ultimately and probably should have scored, and those both came from Panos.
Yes.
So on another day, right, where teammates are a little bit more clinical, you're possibly in a position whereby he's got an assist, and then you're feeling a lot more positive about it, right? It's a complicated one on that front. I mean, we went through quite a few of them, I think, in the post game show with Jake. You look at guys like Rocco Rios Novo, who apparently was not very good according to certain commentators. I would disagree. Again, just you look at the sheer number of attempts that El Paso had on target. Were they great attempts? No, a lot of them were straight at Rocco, to be fair. Okay, but they still had 7 attempts on target, I believe. It's interesting, actually, because if you go back afterwards now and look at the XG's actually gone up for El Paso. It's actually gone up to 1.74 now. Previously, they were lower. Oh. Actually, they were, I believe, when the game finished, I believe we had them lower than Phoenix Rising. Yeah, we did, right? At the full time, the Opta stats here had the expected goals at 1.38 for El Paso, 1.47 for Rising. Now it's 1.74 for El Paso, 1.5 for Rising.
Are you saying Statlack Reese gave false information?
No, I'm not saying that Statlack Reese gave false information. I'm saying that Opta keep changing their minds, which is something that they consistently do. One other thing to note there, Carlos Harvey made Team of the Week.
Yeah. We like that.
We do.
I hear he's pretty good at this whole thing.
Yeah. Very insightful, Max. Very insightful.
Don't I always?
What are your takeaways? Because here's the thing, right? I had to speak about this game at length on Saturday. We haven't heard a whole lot from you on overall thinking about what happened on Saturday's game. Because of course you were in San Diego, weren't you?
I was checking out
San Diego, seeing any signs of life.
Yeah, just making sure. Can report. Beach is nice, but loyal not so.
Well, they drew with Las Vegas, didn't they?
I mean, that's not a great result.
No, it's not. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the Saturday game?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take a look at this Rising squad, how they performed, that on a different day, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but I would say call it, I don't know, 7 out of 10 times, that's a win. It's a win. I think it's just one of those cases where sometimes, man, you're just not bagging the goals that go in. It's just maybe not your day, and that they had chances. It's not like they didn't create anything. It's not like they were half chances. I think just maybe a bit sharper. Maybe dare I even say if this was I don't even want to say if this was a home match, but I just think at a different time they come through, they bag one of those goals, certainly one, and that El Paso really didn't have anything. I mean, outside of their goal, which fair play to them, that was decent buildup and everything. They didn't really have outside of that. So I think in a different day, Rising win this match. And you're looking at this from a different angle. Here's the other tone, is you are not happy that you didn't win this type of match, but I think this, understandably, has a far worser tone if they do not get that, that equalizer from Darius Formella.
Well, yeah. I mean, one thing that's worth noting here, of course, El Paso went on the attack on times, right? And we knew they were going to do that, okay? Yes, we've been talking in recent weeks about what's been going on with teams that are coming up against Rising. In fact, they often are sitting back, they're sitting deeper, right? You do also, though, have to remember, of course, that El Paso now are up against it. Okay? They are outside of the playoffs looking in, and they have to find ways to get these points.
Yeah.
They're very close. They could well make it in. It's very plausible, right, that they make it in. But at the end of the day, they're on the outside looking in. When you're in a home game in that kind of position, you have to attack. You have to open up the game. You have to be willing to go after it like that. You can't just sit back and say, we'll take a draw. The fact that Rising weren't able to exploit that as well as perhaps they could have is maybe a little bit concerning. Look, it was one of those games where I think just sometimes the finishing wasn't there. Some of the build-up play was there, but the finishing wasn't. And so, I don't know. It's a complicated one because you'll look at it and say, should have been better, but at the same time, sometimes those are just the games that you have, right? And the key thing more than anything is that this team still isn't losing, okay? They find a way to rescue that draw, okay? On another day, quite frankly, say this was a playoff game, right? And you get a goal at the death like that, I think the momentum's with you, and I think you probably go on to win the game in the end. Because you've gotten it so late there that just knowing the momentum, knowing the mentality of players and how that can affect, I hazard a guess that Rising probably have better odds of going on and winning that game they would of losing it. But I don't know.
No, certainly. And shout out to Albert. What's up? This better be a good show after Max had that midday caffeine hit. Yeah, I did pull the Discord. They helped me choose my Keurig K-Cup. Appreciate you, Albert. And Albert and Mikey with the collaboration there. But no, I mean, I will say this. I know we're probably going to get a bit more into the kind of bigger picture, the philosophical mumbo-jumbo of this team moving forward and the next couple matches. But, you know, again, you know me. I like a good cliche. In the playoffs, it's not even as much as like how you're going to win as how you're not going to lose.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think
I was expecting worse there. Okay. From the cliches, I was expecting worse.
I would never. I
was expecting to cringe, and what you said was actually relatively true, right? We've seen teams do that. How many times have we seen teams do that where they go into these playoffs, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a favorite or you're not, right? Orange County went in 2021. What did they do? They didn't lose. They weren't great. They didn't lose. And then you take it to kicks from 12 yards out, and it's all of a sudden it's anyone's game at that point. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are, it's anyone's game, and it's down to who's better at doing that one individual thing, who can better hold their cool. And sometimes that is, quite frankly, a team that doesn't have a whole lot riding on feeling like they have to go out and achieve.
Well, I think that's I'm trying not to go too far on the next one, but I'll say it serves Rising well that they're the team who has the attacking options and everything like that, who has been able to grind out draws. And I think it's easier to ask a team, hey, can we pull back and defend, rather than saying, hey, team, can you kickstart an offensive attack that you really just don't have? So that is something that Rising, I think, it bodes well, has going well for them. And look, Benito's Blue Word already in there. We'll win on Saturday. The last thing Juan wants is to oh boy, my coach Kev. Well, oh my!
That would be Devon in the chat's dad who was at training today watching.
Yeah, no, it's I think that this serves the team well, and listen, it's crazy, and it sure hasn't felt like it, especially in the last couple of matches. But like the unbeaten streak continues.
It does.
Is it all wins?
They're unbeaten since August 19th.
Fantastic.
They're unbeaten since the middle of August.
That's I'm no.
It's over a month.
I'm no a calendar planner, but that's over a month.
Well done, Max.
I got you.
Well done. He's no calendar planner. What's a calendar planner?
Oh, thank you. Well,
is this something you just made up on the spot because you needed
I know like certain places have like advent calendars and stuff, and our friends at Four Peaks has an advent calendar. They're a little bit earlier for that, but it is something that it is the holiday season. It is coming around the corner, and with the especially around November, December, look out for the advent holiday calendar from our friends at Four Peaks. But you know what? You don't
Max,
have to wait till
the beer is good, right? We're enjoying it here. Why are you making me cringe so much?
It's not all about you. Anyway,
look, good. Good.
That's fair. Anyway, Four Peaks, it's they have like,
where's your BMX?
Four Peaks.
Where's your BMX?
Right here on the tower.
Which one?
The Golden Lager is just kind of in the middle there.
There you go.
Well,
come on.
That's okay. I will not be shamed into.
No. Come on.
You got to drink responsibly. 21 year older.
You're 21. You're over 21.
I am over 21. Excuse me. Yeah, Four Peaks. It's a good time, right? Check out not only have to wait for their holiday advent calendar, but they got the fall stuff. The pumpkin porter, right? You love a good pumpkin porter.
You know what? I actually went to Four Peaks like after landing, coming back from El
Did you
Paso.
now?
I did actually. Went for food there.
How was it?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
What'd you get?
I actually had the carne adorada.
Ooh, I have not
Which
had
is a
that.
bit of a change.
Ooh, I mean, the
Yeah.
chicken tendies you can't go wrong.
And of
with
course, I went with the classic. Wow.
that. You do love your wow.
With the
I think it's
food.
death, taxes, and Owen
Mhm.
Evans drinking a wow wheat. But yeah, check out Four Peaks on
He's
Instagram
doing
at the
it
Four Peaks
again.
Pub and their Four Peaks Brew. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy it responsibly. Okay, I love it. I love it. Alexander seeing there, saw you on Rising Twitter's Dev. LOL, absolutely, always a good time. Good time as well. We're at the Circle K, so we can get Four Peaks. You can get all kinds of things. Get the snacks, cold drinks, the Polar Pops, all of that jazz. Check out Circle K. Download the Inner Circle program. Super easy. Download Circle K app for free. Join the Inner Circle program for free. Again, first 5 fill-ups, 25 cents off per gallon. First 5 Polar Pops, free. Every 6th hot item. Pizza, hot item, insert here. They have all kinds of...
You only know pizza.
No, they do a pizza. They actually have...
Max's right. This is more a damning indictment on Max's culinary breadth here, I
Don't
think,
you say
than
that. I have a great culinary breath. But
pizza.
pizza, and they do have a nice
Okay.
chicken sandwich, actually.
Okay.
Hot chicken
There we go.
sandwich. They
See?
have
Now
like
he's
chicken
expanding out.
nuggets. They have like the hot rolled items like taquitos and stuff. Really good. Really
Okay.
good. Check out Circle K. Not really good in a pinch. Always have great snacks, everything in. Download our Circle program, all for free. There we go.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah, shout out everyone in the chat. Alex, we're talking we're talking about security and we're talking about the
El
broadcast.
Paso security? Yeah, no.
It's almost
It's-
like they pull. I mean, listen, if we're going to talk about teams pulling from the MILB and their security, oh boy.
Reno.
Yeah.
What about Reno? Come on, tell us some stories, Max.
I mean, all I'll say is
Come on,
that
Reno is dead now. You can't offend anyone. The club is dead.
I'm not offending people. No,
Good.
there's some nice. Excuse me, that's bad for audio. There's some nice people who work there for the Reno Aces still,
Mhm.
who share the same field as Reno 1868 FC did at Greater
That
Nevada
was a
Field.
quality playing surface, that wasn't it?
No, it was not. Let's call it what it is. They very much share the field and good people, nice people. Okay. I'm not. I don't want.
They didn't understand the idea of a
No,
sport where you go and do anything other than eat popcorn and clap when the organ tells you to.
Raise your hand if anyone is over 70 years old. I don't want to offend anyone in here. No? Okay, I don't see any hands, right? Okay. I just think, maybe the security there was a little bit older and nothing wrong with that, but they just wasn't kind of lax in the security. I'll say that. It was kind of lax and a lot of things you get away with in Reno.
In Reno? Okay,
At times.
interesting. Yeah, no, El Paso's not that way.
Yeah. It's tough.
Uh,
But hey,
I don't know. I saw someone from Phoenix get kicked out in Reno.
that's a whole nother. You
And
know
it
what you're
wasn't
doing.
Max.
You know,
It wasn't Max.
I was actually no, I was not. I was not working there. That was actually the first game after I left the club, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy this match as a fan. Reno got booted from the playoffs,
Nice.
and someone else got booted later. But hey, that's a different story for a different day. If you know, you know. Looking at this team, big picture, Phoenix Rising. They have a couple home matches coming up. Right, 2 in a row. 2 out of 3 to end the season, of course, with that away season finale, regular season finale in
Should we
Colorado
push
Springs.
up the normal? We normally do it at the start of the month. Should we do our thing now?
We're kind of here.
Okay.
We're kind of here. Before, as I kind of tee you up for that, looks like Phoenix Rising, right, with those last 2 home games before that away match in Colorado Springs, sets themselves up pretty nicely for a couple back-to-back matches. But either of those 2 matches overly concern you? I know in previous weeks we've said no. How you feeling?
I'm not necessarily concerned about... I don't know. It's different levels of concern and perhaps concern for different reasons, right? Because there's always ways in this league for you to mess up and drop points. The 2 home games, let's look at them. Orange County. You've got a team that is battling neck and neck at the moment with Phoenix Rising for a home playoff game.
Mhm.
It's very plausible that come the end of the regular season... Right, I mean, I'd probably narrow it down to Rising's playing one of 3 teams, right? They're probably going to play Orange County, San Diego, or Colorado Springs. They've got 2 of those to play in the next 3 games, okay? those games are hard because, again, you know they're battling with you for positioning. You know that they are probably relatively even on if they're on a good day. It's going to be tough. And then you've also got to understand that you're going to ultimately come out of that game and plausibly have to play this team again in 2 or 3 weeks' time with a lot more at stake on that day. That's hard. But at the same time, you look at the New Mexico game and I see a team that will view itself as a rival, features a couple of ex-Rising players, is plausibly going to be eliminated that night. That could well happen. It could happen, right? Regardless of what happens in that game.
Good.
Okay? If you continue down the route of they still 4 points back, it doesn't matter what they do that night, they'd be out. Yeah. I think there's just a point when you look at all of those games whereby there's something that could go wrong. And you've got to remain focused at this point if you're Rising.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to make sure that you're still executing. Defensively, you've got to be sound because, again, you've got to be careful going into those playoff games, right? You've got to be careful about not throwing off the rhythm defensively because they've been doing pretty well at the back. You don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
You need to look at how you're going to make sure that you're getting enough chances to people like Arteaga and Trejo. I think Arteaga missed a couple. I didn't think Trejo really had very much. I'm not sure if it wasn't much to work with, whether he wasn't getting in the right spots. There's a lot of different things there. It definitely wasn't his best game in a Rising shirt away to El Paso.
Sure.
I think there was a lot of time when you kind of looked at him and you kind of didn't see anything. He didn't really stand out good or bad at anything. He just was there. You've got to get more from him going into some of these games. You desperately need that. But
sure,
look, that's kind of where the focus has to be. I think you've got to, you've got to grind out a result against Orange County. You've definitely got to try and grind out a result. I think possibly against Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
But there's so many other bits that go into it as well that you just have to stay focused. You have to make sure that you are staying disciplined as well. Let's not see any daft decision making in these last few games that will put you in a bad position. Yeah.
I mean, it's you kind of look at it, right? Phoenix Rising, they're done playing the midweek matches for the rest of the year. It's really nice, advantageous opportunity. And I think the fact, too, that I think, especially, let's say the cards fall where they may, and you don't want to be going into that last away match with something at stake, especially like a home playoff spot and anything like that. I'm kind of looking at while you're pulling up Phoenix Rising, the only team in the West with 5 last matches unbeaten. And listen, I'm not saying that if they go into that last match away to Colorado Springs, that they couldn't pull that off and get a result needed for, let's say, if anything was on the stake. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself because that's a future conversation if we need to have it. But you don't have any midweek matches. All you have to do is focus on one home game at a time. It's a phenomenal opportunity. Put yourself in a very darn good spot heading into that last
Right,
week.
let's talk about what some of the teams have left on the slate. I think this is a fair one to try and judge where we think teams are going to finish here, right? So San Diego, let's look at who they've got. Monterey Bay at home. That's coming up on Saturday. How we feel? I mean, I'll give you the other games if you want. We'll just do them all in one go.
Sure.
Then you get into the midweek clash. They then have away to El Paso. Then they come back home for Saturday game against Oakland. And then they have a week off before playing Las Vegas the following weekend away from home. To me, as I'm looking at this, I would say San Diego have a tough run-in.
Congested.
I mean, Monterey Bay and Oakland are fighting for their lives right now. El Paso are fighting for them. They have 3 teams that are right around that playoff line.
Yeah.
Dead on it, right? Oakland are on 41. Monterey Bay are on 41. El Paso are the first team out on 40. Okay? And San Diego have to play all 3 of those teams. It's not really who you want to be playing at this point. Now, Vegas at the end of the season, I think 7 points is reasonable. I think that's possibly when they went up on. So that would put them then, to end the season, they would end up on 54 points at that point. Okay?
Yeah,
if we say 7, what do you think?
Sounds
4
fine.
games, 7 maybe? So they'll lose 1, they'll draw 1. They'll probably beat Vegas, and then it's win-loss draw on the other 3, yeah?
That's true, but like that's a crazy thing. Like, if you
Oakland
leave
have their number.
sure,
Or have done for years.
Sure. If you leave anything to that last week, man, I just like, I don't know. That's like, that's a ton of pressure. And there are some teams, they're just not going to cope well with it.
Yeah.
Could be one of those
True.
teams.
Harry will also say that while Vegas do play better at home, you're correct. They're not playing this one at Cashman Field. It's being played at the minor league ballpark.
No Cashman.
Don't ask me why.
No lie.
But hey, that's
No
what
lie.
they're doing. You get the other teams here.
Well, Vegas fans will travel really well
Okay.
to that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They don't travel to their home games normally. Okay, so that's San Diego out of the way. We think probably around 54, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, Orange County. Obviously, they're coming to Phoenix. We'll ignore that one for now because we're not going to look at Phoenix's
Right.
games until the very end.
True.
So their other games, they've got Oakland at home, San Antonio at home, Monterey Bay away. That's a tough one. Because again, what you've got here, you've got 2 teams that are right battling at the bottom of the playoff picture.
Yep.
And you've got San Antonio, who just smacked you 4-0 last weekend.
Not great.
That's tough.
Not great.
Also, when noting that Oakland home game in the middle, that's kind of in the middle of Rising playing them this weekend, and then
Again,
San Antonio
another
home.
congested schedule.
It's another congested, right?
Yeah.
People who have the extra game, yeah, it's not easy. They're also on a downward trajectory right now. Look, here's what I'll say: 4 points in the other 2. I think honestly, I could see them, weirdly enough, getting a draw against San Antonio, losing to one, and then drawing the other, and possibly only getting 2 points.
Sure.
I could see that.
Sure.
Could you?
Yeah.
Put them on 49. I mean, if you say they win one,
I mean, either way, like
a win and a draw, so 4 points in there
either way,
from 3 games.
Phoenix Rising
Let's
has
put them on 51.
Phoenix Rising would hold the advantage either way, especially if they take care of business. So it's done.
Well, here's the
don't
key
matter.
thing. It's about taking care of business on Saturday.
Exactly.
But regardless,
Yes.
say that puts them on 51. We've already established that we think Loyal will be on probably around 54.
Yep.
Colorado Springs. Now, this is where it gets awkward. Colorado Springs have turned a little bit of a corner. They lost 2 games in their last 5, the first 2. Then they got a draw, and they've won 2 in a row now, Orange County and Sacramento Republic. Not really the kind of games that you want to see someone winning when you're reliant on them.
Sure.
Ultimately, finding ways to screw up. But you look at who they're playing. Detroit away tomorrow. Now, that might be a tough one because Detroit can, I'm sure, pack that. You know how they like to pack the back, right? They love to do that.
Yeah.
They're a defensive team. They're very defense first. It works well at home because they have such a narrow pitch. Very narrow pitch.
You also have to factor in the travel factor.
Travel factor
Sure.
also comes in as well. You're not
Sure.
wrong. Going from Colorado Springs to Detroit in midweek, right? Between 2 home games. Then they got RGV at home, winnable game. Vegas away, winnable game. And then they play Rising. I'm almost expecting somewhere in the range of 6 to 7 points from those 3 games.
3. Yeah, it checks out.
So what would you go with? If we had to say 6 or 7?
Let's put 7, just
going
for
7?
just for argument's
That's
sake.
going to put them on
Sure.
50.
Sure. I mean, I'm liking that.
Yeah.
So everything stacks up pretty well.
But then that's where the games against Rising's opponents come in, right? Rising at that point, they're currently on 47. Okay, we currently have San Diego on 54. We have OC was saying, what do we put them on, 50?
Yep.
51, I think we had them on, actually.
Sure.
We said 4 points.
Yep.
And then we have Colorado Springs. We said they'd probably pick up 7.
So 50.
So they'll
right?
be on 50.
Yep.
Rising at the moment are on 47. If you look at what they realistically can do, let's say they beat New Mexico then. Okay, so Rising now are on 50 points.
Sure.
They've got to find results
Sure.
because they're still, those other 2 games are critical, right? You lose to Orange County, you're not catching them, I don't think.
Sure. It's a fair
You
assessment.
lose to Colorado Springs, you're going to struggle. Not least because, what was the last meeting between Rising and Colorado Springs?
Oh, Bueller.
It's here. It's a draw.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 1-1 draw.
Hmm?
You
Yeah.
lose to Colorado Springs away, and they do what we said they were going to do, and Rising still win their other 2 games. What happens? Colorado Springs and Rising dead level 53. All of a sudden, Colorado Springs have the tiebreak. Rising travel to Colorado Springs. A week after traveling to Colorado Springs. for the playoffs.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? That's the reality of what we're looking at here, whereby those margins, those games against Orange County and Colorado Springs are so massive because this is going to come down so close to the wire.
You're not wrong. And
this is presuming that Rising beat New Mexico, which even if they're eliminated that day, I fear the fact that you play a team that will be motivated about having to do something in that game. Yeah. It's Rising against New Mexico, so they'll probably find another level in there.
This is also
we know that guys like Greg Hurst will probably want to prove themselves in games like this.
I mean, this also, like, you, especially in a game like that, like, you don't want, like, a cheap foul or a red card or something. Oh, my gosh. Hey. Listen.
And that's also the difference there, right? When you play someone like a New Mexico, and it's going to be a heated game, they have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose if they're out of the contest at that point, okay? And you'd have to be smart and not get drawn into stuff, lest you risk really just hampering your chances the following week when you play Colorado Springs away from home.
100%. I will try to rein this back in a bit in saying this is a helpful exercise to kind of see how you do the math, how we get to the points. I know we're going to talk about it further on Thursday with a bit more of a deeper breakdown against Orange County, but
are you going to ask me for where I think they'll finish?
No. I'm actually no. I'm not getting there. I'm not going there. I think it's something where, again, it's a cliche, but you really do have to take this one match at a time, and you can't. You can play all the mind games you want. You can wrap your head in a pretzel. You got to focus on Saturday, and they have a phenomenal opportunity to do so. Orange County is by no means going to be a walkover opponent, but it's one where Orange County has caught fire, and then they've slightly cooled off a bit. I think Phoenix Rising, they've been riding their unbeaten streak, and they're in a good position to do so. You have to check out Thursday for our predictions, but I think you have to just pump the brakes one at a time.
What I'll say here more than anything is that I think if Rising can pull off a win on Saturday, I think it's more than 50% chance in my mind of a home playoff game, is what I'd say.
Sounds right.
Sounds pretty good. That's where I'd put it.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
It's see, it feels like a must win. We'll get into it for Thursday, but it feels like a must win.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I would say felt like a must win that we came up short. Valley Tap Room trivia last Tuesday. We finished top 3.
Second, in fact.
We did finish top 3. I mean,
we finished second.
We're not going to talk about that. There's only 3 teams there, but doesn't matter. Listen.
All the more chance to win. Get down there.
Listen, I did get the brand question right. I want to put that out there.
He did get the brand question right.
The GM Saul Bookman and myself actually tag team Del Monte Tomatoes for anyone who ever needs that in the future.
Ads.
No, I'm not. Don't wait. That's my line. That's my line. I'm not giving out free ads. That's the
no free ads.
That is my thing. Don't. Anyway, Valley Tap Room, that's not a free ad. They're a great partner of ours. Shout out my man Donald. And shout out the crew there. Good people. Drank copious 4 Peaks beers. Always a good time. Check them out. Off the 212 Gilbert. And on Instagram at Valley Tap Room. And, if you're going there drinking, must be 20 years old to enjoy responsibly. Same if you're going to be partaking in a little OGs. OGs brands. They just restocked their minis. They're a good time. They are going to be utilizing, a rumor, a new PHNX promo code. Not right now, but around the corner. Check them out. OGsBrands.com. Find them at a local dispensary near you. The fruits, the creams, the sativas, the indicas. Rumor has it someone lost a bet and has to give out OGs to certain people at the PHNX office. That's all we're going to say. We're not going to point any fingers. And we'll worry what the subject was, but we just go.
Yeah, we move on.
Check out our friends at Valley Tap Room. Whether you're an innie, an outie, don't matter. Check out Valley Tap Room. Wow, holy crap. Check out OGs. Oh, dear gosh. They're all blending together. Sorry.
Adman is confused.
Sorry. I heard...
Adman is very confused.
I heard that there was a Burrito Express and a Circle K in the same location, and now it's just wrap my head around. But if you go to either of those locations, enjoy some OGs. It's going to make that experience even that much more better. Look how I turned that. Here we go. We're back on track. I literally made my day. Yeah, those things are conjoined. It's fantastic. Check out OGs at ogsbrands.com and on all the socials as OGs Brands.
To Fat Kid in there, no, we don't know the full details yet. It'll likely be... Personally, I'd be surprised if it's not the first Saturday, but it could be on the Friday.
Sure.
It is how... Typically, they've played Fridays or Saturdays in playoffs at home.
Sure.
We know that that's how it'll be. It'll be each weekend until you eventually reach what I believe is the final on Sunday, the 12th of November. Fixed bracket, always played at the highest seed team, though, so yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's all the more suspense. Let me stall.
What are you doing?
Let me
He's
stall.
stalling. But you can stall with better things. Have you got more ads, Max?
Can I?
You always know.
Stop it. No, I want to do a little bit of a kind of just a catch-all, right? It's gonna be a tense.
Catch-all.
It's gonna be a tense week. It's going to be a last real tense stretch this season. Kind of want to talk about just a couple of random fun things. Gonna get the pulse on it.
Should we talk about that game that's coming up tomorrow at all? Because, I mean, it's the only game that matters.
I mean,
tomorrow.
sure, you can mention
Detroit
that, sure.
City, Colorado Springs. Come on, what are we thinking here, genuinely? Like I said, I know they like to pack the back.
Colorado Springs, without a doubt. That's not even a question.
What do you think?
Colorado Springs.
Do you think they're going to win the game?
Yes, I do.
Away to Detroit.
Yes.
Give me a score.
2-0.
You're going with 2-0.
Sure.
Colorado Springs win.
Sure.
Away in Detroit.
Sure.
Away at...
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, someone's coming for Detroit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll clip this and tweet it at NGS.
You would never.
I might.
You won't. Anyway, no, I want to kind of...
I don't know, because again, they're a defensive team, right? And when you play on that very small pitch they have at Keyworth, they're very good at being able to pack the back. It makes it easier that it's so small. But they're smart, right? Trevor James is a smarter coach, okay? He knows what you do when you don't have resources.
I just heard that you said Trevor James is a
when they
smart
don't
coach.
have resources
Real
is you pack the back, right? And they have, broadly speaking, done that successfully for most of the year. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked to see Detroit nick a draw in that game.
That's fair.
And they need points as well right now.
Okay. Let's anyway. Actually, that was a fair question you asked. I do appreciate you bringing that up. But let's kind of go. Want to talk? I'm gonna throw out some topics. Chat. I would like you to participate as well. Kind of just want to get your feel on what you think about them. Phoenix Rising. I know, right? No, we mentioned that they've done this throughout the season, but right, saw it on the Twitter, the X, all that stuff.
Twitter.
The Twitter. On the Twitterverse.
Max about to drop it. I'm not French.
No. Well, I haven't checked 23andMe in a while, but on at PHX Rising FC on Twitter, X, whatever. They had the season ticket holders there, looking at training, everything like that. What is your thought on clubs doing this in general, and any ideas or suggestions?
I mean, I don't see what the problem is. Right? Look, here's the thing. No, I know.
Great analysis.
Yeah, but okay, a lot of teams can get quite protective over training, right? We know that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent days awkwardly standing behind the stand at Rising because Rick wanted to try things out for playoffs.
Sure.
And no one was allowed to watch, and it would be terrible if people saw. Look, of course you want to keep certain things, a little bit more secret. At the end of the day, it's no real problem for the team to it's not problematic from a playing standpoint to have people out there on a day when training wise they're not doing anything that's particularly secretive. I think that it makes sense in terms of bringing people into again, make them feel valued, like I said earlier in the show. I think it adds that benefit for season ticket members. I think it also has the opposite side of things over making sure that people are able to show the players, the support at this time as they're going into what is a pretty critical moment in the season. So I think all of that adds up well. It's good. I will say, actually, before we move on, can I give a shout out to Devon here on in the chat saying about, are you doing USL Fantasy League playoffs? This is tempting. Should we do something?
Well,
we need to do some kind of competition.
Oh, man.
We'll do something. I'm not committing to what it's going to look like.
Oh, man.
We actually spoke about this a few weeks back.
We did speak about this.
About how we could do this. Now it's time. I'm going to start getting to work. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes up, okay?
Okay. So that was actually where I was going next. I did want to pull the chat because I actually Producer Damon, if we can scroll up a bit into the show, a little more.
Is
This
it
is
professional
horrible,
podcast?
horrible for audio.
App mine crumbling?
Keep going.
No free ads?
Nope. Keep.
Evening
nope.
Reese?
Keep going.
Good afternoon, Michael.
No, stop it. Okay, right here. So, a couple of things. First, Thomas in the chat, get some of your homies from PHNX to get loud in the South End with us. Thoughts on that? And also, this is actually a thought for producer Damon because I heard someone was there for Dollar Beer Night.
Game and Dollar Beer Night.
I was. It was a great time.
It was a good time.
Yeah, except for the late.
We don't talk about that part, but yes.
Yeah, we don't talk about that part.
Okay, so thoughts on getting some PHNX homies to the game on Saturday, joining the South End? Owen, are you pro or against? You like that?
Well, people can come whenever they want.
Yeah, dude, this guy sucks.
I might be
Sell
down.
tickets. He's coming.
Cool.
I got a commitment there.
I got a verbal commitment. It's pending. We'll put in
playing
contract.
on Saturday night.
Rat and blood.
I might be the biggest Rising fan ever.
There we go.
You
He's the
might
biggest
be.
Rising fan ever.
You might be.
Confirmed.
Heard it
I
first.
went to one game and I got Rising fever.
It's not a cure. I'm sorry. It's incurable. Oh man. Okay. No. Go back.
Might wanna
Stop
get
right there.
that checked
So
out, I'm not gonna lie.
no, do not get that checked out. So then
We've followed this team for enough time now.
dear
to
gosh.
say
So
those
then
things.
another comment from Albert in the chat, probably more for next year, but there needs to be a PHNX Rising takeover. I feel like that would attract folks to follow their teams. Thoughts on that?
Sure.
Dude, this.
You keep saying these things like, well, something, I don't.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
It
Thank
sounds like-
you.
there we go.
That's what I'm looking for. Gosh darn it. This guy sucks. No, I think that'd be very cool. And I'm not going to tease. I'm not going to say anything. Just there's been a conversation that be had, and maybe, just maybe, depending on how home advantage works in the playoffs, maybe we'll see. I'm not trying to overpromise. Stop. I'm not trying to.
Are you trying to overpromise again, man?
No, I'm not trying to overpromise.
Don't
That's
worm
not
your
what I
way
do.
into something you can't.
No, I'm just saying. Anyway,
Trying to bite off
there
more
was
than you
one
can
more
chew
right
again.
there. Devin All, PHNX Rising halftime show. PHNX Cards do one. Thank you for supporting the PHNX Cardinal show. Producer Damon absolutely crushes it. Does well on that. I think the reason for not doing a halftime show, and I think it's like,
Halftime is short.
well, first off, that's a very big part. But I don't know. I think often that's really a fun time to like talk to fans and get a bit more like personal, like being real. That's something fun. Maybe there's something we can incorporate during social or whatnot for next year. But I think we honestly enjoy that time to like kind of get the pulse of the game and like do something that I think we're just very fortunate to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I did have one more. And Mr. Owen Evans, being the MLS fan that you are,
I know where you're going with this.
No,
And
you
the thing
don't.
is, I do, because you're about to talk about Seattle Sounders and their rebrand.
Owen, I would not. It is the Seattle Sounders and the rebound, and specifically their tertiary logo, I believe.
You know when they
do you
last
think of
used?
this?
You know when they last used?
What do you
stuff
like about the orca? Is it a
Well,
whale?
you know when they last
a
used them-
dolphin? Shamu?
You know when they
Is
last
that copyright? Is that trademarked?
probably
Probably. Can you trademark a name? Can you trademark a whale?
probably only in that context. But
What do you think a whale sounds like?
I'm not making whale noise.
Can I just say from a design standpoint, like this looks like something that you could make on Photoshop in about 2 minutes. I
Yeah.
like the concept of maybe even like messing around with a little orca or whatever, but like how simple of a
I will
graphic can you
say,
put together?
here, and Bandito's been coming in with a Cardiff fans hate rebrand, and he's not wrong. But the thing about the Seattle Sounders thing here is it's their 50th anniversary, and as part of the whole new club identity, like graphic stuff they've created, a lot of it is inspired by various different things from throughout their history, actually, throughout the 50 years. They've existed over multiple leagues. The last time we saw, of course, the Orca was back when they were playing in USL. So, yeah, USL. It's better.
Can't spell O without orca, or wait, shit. Other way around.
I'm no spelling expert,
Oh gosh. It's been a day.
Here's the thing, though,
It's been a
Albert,
day.
right? You're right. It's 70s NASL stuff. You're not wrong. But that's not the primary badge, okay? The primary badge is more football looking, right? It's a secondary logo, which isn't that much of a problem, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Rebrands are always polarizing. The Blue word. Cardiff hate fans. Hey, rebrands. Oh dear gosh. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're not going there. Listen, rebrands are always polarizing, especially in a sport where there's a lot of history.
That could be worse. Could have been Loose City's first attempt at a rebrand. That was
dear.
phenomenal.
That's. Oh gosh. I mean, I will say this. Horrible rebrand. They walked that back like pretty darn immediately.
Well, yeah, because it was so bad.
But like, how many teams lean into that and like they say screw it? Like, I'm not defending them.
Yeah, but there's
But
a
they, like,
bad
walked it back.
rebrand. There's
They
a
walked it
bad
back.
rebrand, and then there's high school sophomore intro to graphic design bad. Okay, and that's what that original Loose City rebrand was. It was awful.
I'm no Photoshop expert, but
You are no Photoshop expert.
Kieran just joined and we're talking about whales. Actually, sir, wait, is it a whale or an orca? Okay, someone in the chat, what is the difference between a whale and an orca? Please tell me. I don't know.
Well, I think
it is a toothed whale belonging to the dolphin family.
I was about to
It's
say,
also called a killer whale.
So it's a
of course.
dolphin.
yes.
Americans call them orcas typically,
Wait,
but other people
Orcas are
call them killer whales.
more closely related to dolphins than they are whales.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That is a fact.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So all orcas are dolphins, but not all dolphins are whales because they're totally different. Well, this is so confusing. How is it closer to a dolphin? How is it closer to a dolphin? I feel we lose brain cells whenever we do this show, and it's mainly just me.
It's mainly him, yeah.
It's mainly me. Albert is staunchly against the rebrand. It's fair. It's fair. Garrett, I'm dead sober. That's the crazy thing. This is just my
This is
personality.
just him.
This is just me.
Right.
This is just me.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is what I put up with.
Don't we all?
Oh.
Anything else before we get out of here?
I think we call this one to a close.
I'm no marine biologist, but Reese, you get it. Good job, lad. Appreciate everyone joining us for the PHNX Rising podcast and all of our orca, whale, dolphin talk, whatever. You can follow us on Twitter at PHNX __ because double the underscore.
Double the fun.
I can be honest, I was expecting something different. I don't know what
No,
it
we
was.
go with a normal one tonight. It's fine.
Double the whale sounds. One more time.
No.
Okay. You can follow me.
Double the D-backs
very serious
comebacks.
What? Ooh,
D-backs
what's the score?
Let's go. It's 11-4 now at the moment. Actually.
Espo was wrong. It's close, but he wrong.
Close,
You
but
can follow
wrong.
me on Twitter at Max David Simpson. You can follow Owen on Twitter at OJEvans18. You can follow Stat Like a Reese at Reese11 _. Not 2 underscores. Again, he's gave us the wrong one. Trying to get people to follow just the wrong account for months. For months now. This guy accepts an internship, gives us the wrong username. It's an indictment on him as
His
a
own
person.
username.
Wrong as a person. How do you trust a person like that? Anyway, you can follow Damon at Damon Dog on Twitter, DAWG. Yeah. It's
End the show.
It's a beautiful game. Way more beautiful when orcas
Max is
are
buying
orcas
beers.
when orcas are not dolphins. Goodbye.